All right, so I figured I'd record this because literally within a 10-minute time span, this is what happened. So if you have a garden, okay, I know there's many videos out there that'll tell you there's like preventative measures that you can take, but there's really nothing more effective than just doing this. Now, when you do this also, you have to go to the, because I'm gonna make a separate video where I start to talk about the stages that they go through, because basically they start in the soil and then, you know what I'm saying, they'll start to take advantage of like the lower, when they're an adult, young adult, they'll start to take advantage of the lower plants, and then they start to go into the higher trees and plants, and that's when, you know, they start flying longer distances and whatnot. But right now in the garden, they're going to be active for about 40 days between the month of June and July. This happens. I don't add any kind of chemicals to my garden, so this is how I do it. And literally for the first 2 weeks, this is when they're most aggressive. So if you have time, this is the most effective way, because if you really think about it, 10 minutes I did this, 10-15 minutes. I mean, what spray do you know that can get rid of these bugs within that time frame? So I'm going to show you something about how they look right now. So if you just kind of pan out right here, from this angle, you can kind of see all the Japanese beetles on the leaves. So if you see right there, they will literally decimate and skeletonize an entire plant within like a couple of days if you're not on top of this. But these are basically all over the place. All they do is eat and reproduce. And I'm going to show you real quickly. Don't put your finger under this. How to get rid of these. Don't shake the plant, because then you'll have the other ones scatter out. Like literally go through your plant slowly. And you can basically, well, that one flew away. But if you see this right here, for example, you just basically look, I just literally dumped about 7 in there. There's another ones over here. See, they all just fall in, because their defense mechanism, what they do first is they kind of fall off the leaf. They don't fly up or out like a traditional fly does. You know what I'm saying? So with these, you definitely come on this side. You're gonna definitely see a lot over here. And when they cluster up like this, this is when they do the most damage. Okay. If you look at this leaf, all right, there's literally about 15 of them in there, I think I count. So if you see this, for example, this is the most effective way to do it. I just literally dropped all of them in there without shaking the whole plant. You know what I'm saying? If not, this is what the leaf starts to look like. They'll literally decimate an entire plant within literally a day or two if you leave them just doing what they need to do in the garden. So you know, you walk around. I mean, it's basically like you do a walkthrough of your garden. You know what I'm saying? You just get rid of these little parasitic insects, and you know, within 2 weeks you'll notice that there's not that many anymore, because they start to fly up higher. You know, and you know, there's different protocols where they'll tell you about, you know, putting bacteria in the soil. They'll tell you about certain chemicals that you could use, but the whole thing is that they're still coming from the forest. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no way to actually control what comes in. Yeah, you're gonna get a swarm of them coming here because they're coming from over there also. So I mean, I don't find the effectiveness of putting any kind of chemicals anywhere at all. I don't care if it's BT or whatnot. I've noticed that throughout the couple of years, I've just been putting, you know, soapy water, and just basically just, you know, put your hand over the leaf, if anything, so they can't fly up. But then they normally just fall down, so you have the cup of soapy water underneath, and then you have your hand over. There's no way for them to escape, and they're just gonna fall right into the cup. You can get rid of like 15 to 20 in literally one shake, and you can walk around your entire yard, and you know, you have a ton of them that you can get rid of, and you kind of start lessening their population or their aggressiveness. You can't really ever get rid of them. They're not gonna go away. But I'm gonna make a separate video on these particular insects and certain things, like research that I've done on them. But I mean, I'll show you right now within the last 2 days, if you just follow me real quick. So I leave this there as like, you know, it'll release a stench, and it'll deter the other ones. If they're attracted to flowers and geraniums and whatnot, well, this will deter them, because there's literally about 600 of those little Japanese beetles there. And again, 2 days I'm just doing it by just shaking them in a shaker cup, and it literally takes about an hour or two sometimes, like, and you don't have to do it an hour or two straight, but in brackets throughout the day, it really lessens their potency. They're gonna fly around like when it's really hot and sunny toward the beginning, and then after that they just tend to slow down, because when they're eating, they get drunk. It's like they get high, they just fall, and then they're victim to whatever, you know, predators are on the ground. So it's up to you. You got to learn a little bit about them, and then you could kind of prevent them in your yard, in your garden, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, that's about it. I'll make a separate video on information on these Japanese beetles and my opinion on what I think they actually are. We'll talk soon.